books are ready for this thing to get started. And get ready for another dose of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. With Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Take a look at New York.
Sky like a rabbit, rebound number 1.
Back to the loving embrace of their hometown faithful.
All right, so here we go. Let's talk about this for a second. Guide number 3. Let's talk about one of the most important changes in this year's game, passing. And I'm glad that these changes were made, even though it does affect the game in some ways. There are basically, I'd say, 5 ways to pass at this point in the game now. And there are several new ways that actually affect gameplay. So if you are the type of player that likes to pass, and you should be, because that's basketball, but the game is almost going to force you to pass a lot more and trust your teammates, because your teammates are actually not garbage anymore like they were in 2K14 and 2K15. Also, you're just not going to be able to dribble around people, and the pick and roll is not as effective. It's effective, but it's not 100%, and you need something else to go to during your play. So there's still, of course, the X button in a direction will pass the ball. There's the pro stick pass, which I personally never use because I like to use the right stick for dribbling, and if I'm going to use it for passing as well, it gets kind of weird because I've got my finger usually over turbo and not over the pass button. So it's going to take that amount of time to take my finger off of turbo, unless I put 2 fingers on board, and then that's just not natural. I'm not naturally used to that, so I'm gonna have the time to transfer from one trigger to the other, and the pass might already be, not open anymore. You've got the bounce pass, which is the same as X, but it's circle in a direction. Flashy pass is a double tap of circle. I really like this change. If you want to go for a lot of flashiness, you can. And then you can also pitch dribble, which you hold the ball, and then you wait, and then he comes to you, and then you let go of circle and you hand him the ball. So it's sort of like I have dribble handoff, I guess. Then you've got a lob pass, which is triangle. You could double tap for alley-oop, which is different than last year's oop, which used to be L2 and square, and now it's just a single button double tap. And then you've got the press and hold to force a teammate to cut to the basket, and then you can release it. And I've been kind of experimenting with this in the pick and roll. So you call for a pick, and then you use this button to try to force him to the hoop, because sometimes the CPU just doesn't go to the hoop for whatever reason. And then, of course, you still have the icon passing, which you bring up the icons. I still believe icon passing is the best way to pass. However, having a few other options and getting used to them, and sort of having your finger over the button for lobs and flashy passes is kind of a cool touch. I think learn to icon pass is still the best way to pass. And then, of course, you've got the fake pass. Rolling inbound, I've never actually tried that. I don't really know what that does. And then you've got the give and go, which is to hold X and then get it back. So you push X, that passes to the guy, then you just hold it, and then the guy will pass back when you release. So I don't really use give and go that much, because to be honest with you, you get a bad situation where you have no way of releasing X, and then it just doesn't go good. So those are the passing options. You need to pass in this year's game to be effective. So learn the new triangle, learn the new circle. I'd say if you like to pass with the stick, you could do that, but definitely icon pass is still the best. All right, back to the game.
Kevin, I tell you what, they've actually been terrific on their home court, and they're starting another homestand right now.
Yeah, and this has been their domain, no doubt about it. I mean, they've made this arena a very
Oh, yeah.